I think I started recording. So okay, so base five. If a minor received a get from the husband and to deliver and to the wife, and then grew to adulthood before giving it to her, or a deaf mute received it and he then became able to hear and speak, or a blind person received it and he then became able to see, or an insane person received it and then became sane, or if a non-Jew received it and then converted to Judaism, in all of these cases, the receiver is unfit to serve as the shaliach. But if a hearing and speaking person received the get from the husband to deliver to his wife and then became a deaf mute, and then before delivering the get, he regained his hearing and his speech, or a seeing person received it, then became blind, and then before delivering it, he regained his sight, or a sane person received it and then became insane, and then before delivering it, he regained his sanity. These are all kosher. The general rule is that anyone who is mentally competent at the beginning when he receives the get and at the end, when he delivers it, is fit to serve as the husband's agent, even though there was a period in between when he was not fit. Okay. All right. So now on to today's Mishnayos. Yes, my bookmark in the right place. Okay. Um, so now we remember when we were talking about when Adus Isha, when we Chazal made the provision for a to prevent a gunas, that even one witness is believed to say that her husband has died. Okay, on the assumption that not the assumption, with the condition that she's going to have to do her own due diligence, because the punishments on her, if her husband turns out to be alive and she's married to somebody else, are very severe. Okay, so she needs to make sure of these things. Now, anyone is believed on these things, except there are five relatives who are not believed. Okay, that's her mother-in-law and her sister-in-law and her stepdaughter and what are the five? Let me just get the exact ones over here. Um, so the general is a mother-in-law, the husband's sister, um, and a co-wife, and her sister-in-law, and her that's the husband's brother's wife, and her stepdaughter. Okay, they have a complicated relationship with the wife, and they are suspected that they might lie about the husband's death in order to mess up the arrival. Okay, but these women, they are believed to bring the get and say that it was written and signed in front of me. Okay, Chamos, oh, it's listed in the Mishnah. Right, her mother-in-law Bas Chamosa, her husband's sister, Sarasa, her co-wife Yavimta, her husband's brother's wife, or Bas Bala, and her stepdaughter. Ma ben get lemisa. What's the difference between get and misa? Why do we believe one and not the other? Because the get itself is the proof. The fact that there's a document here signed with witnesses is good enough. All that she's doing is she's adding a very small amount of testimony to say b'fanai nichtav b'fanai nechtam, but the rest of the get looks good. So so she's not making it up completely. Okay. Ha'isha atzma mevia eskita. Even the woman herself may bring her own get. Let's say in a case where the husband specifically wanted to hand over the divorce in a certain court in Eretz Israel. So he sends his wife back with the get and with instructions to the Beis Din to appoint a shaliach to give it to her. Okay, so she can bring it herself. She's just as good as anyone else. She still not has to give that testimony to say that it was written and signed in front of her. Okay, back to the qualities of the get itself. Kol get shenichtav shelo l'sham isha pasul. A get has to be written lishma. It has to be written specifically for the divorce. Okay, and we're going to see increasing levels of how dedicated this get has to be. So taking the first case, a simple case, Ketzad, Haya Ove Bashuk. A guy's walking through the market, Vishama called Sofrim Makrin. So there's a software who's busy training his apprentices to write Gittin. He says, okay, let's practice writing a get. Let's make it for Reuven bin Shimon from this city who's divorcing his wife Sarah. And the guy overhears this and he says, hey, I'm Reuven bin Shimon and my wife is Sarah and I've been meaning to divorce her. So they've written out this get for me. That's wonderful. Let me ask if I can use that. No, not kosher because it was not written lishma.
Right.
Okay, so he can't just use it like that. Ish ploni migarish, ish ploni it's mei makom ploni. V'amar is this shmi okay. Pasal legarish ba. Yasemekan. Furthermore, kasav legarish bo is ishto. So he wrote to get kasher that he's Reuven bin Shimon and he's going to divorce his wife Sarah. Okay. And he says, you know what? I've changed my mind. I'm not upset with her anymore. I don't want to divorce her. But he's got another friend whose name is also Reuven bin Shimon, who's also married to a woman called Sarah. And he says, listen, you've written out this get. I want to use it. Okay, do you mind if I use it? That's not allowed because it was written for the wrong person. Okay. You are Samikan, even more than this. Okay. Hayu lo shtei nashim. This same guy, Reuven bin Shimon, has got two wives who both called Sarah. Okay, Ushmosan Shavin. Kasav legarish bo esa gedola. He originally intended to divorce the older one, and now he changed his mind and decides he wanted to divorce the younger one. No, he can't do that because it was written for the older one. The das was for the older one, and therefore it cannot be used for the younger one. And even more than this, Amar lelavla kesov le'eza she'ertze agaresh pasul legarish bo. There's arguments between his two wives. He reckons he's going to have to divorce one of them. He's not sure which one. So he says to this to the Sophie, look, they both got the same name. Just write them both in and have in mind that when I decide which one I'm going to divorce, that's the one who it's for. You can't do that retroactively. It has to be written lechatchila for the wife that he's going to divorce. Okay. The Kosev Tofse Gittin, one who writes the form of the get. Okay, that's the boilerplate. Tzarich she'aniach makom ha'ish, makom ha'isha, makom hazman. Okay, so there are three important things. Who's the man, who's the woman, and when is this being written? Okay, those are the things that have to be left open and written lishma. Everything else can be written as a boilerplate, can be printed off the printing press. Okay, but those three things have to be written lishma. Now, when it comes to other loans, let's say other documents, like let's say a loan document, he has to leave open so you can write all the forms. You can write the leave, but you got to leave open the place of the lender, makom alove, place for the borrower, makom mouse, how much is being borrowed, makom azman, and the time over which it's going to have to be returned, and of course the date on which it is being done. Okay. Shtari mekach and purchase documents also. Tzarich she'aniach makom alokech, makom hamocher, makom hamaus, makom hasadeh, makom hazman. Okay, so all of these things you just got to leave over the salient details: who's buying from whom and what, and for what price and on what date. Okay. Um, Now, actually, technically, for all of these documents, for the commercial documents, for a loan or for a sale, you could print the entire thing off your printer and just have witnesses sign it. There's no reason why you need to have it filled in lishma, because there's no pasuk. We've got a pasuk with the gittin that it's the kasav la. He's got to write the get for her, but there's no such thing with a sale document or a loan. So so Chazal said we want to make sure that all documents have these things filled in lishma because of a gezerah on Gittin Nashim, so that people don't get used to writing documents and just and not writing it lishma, because for Gittin Nashim it's very serious, and if you don't have a proper get and you think you've got a proper get, you wind up with mamzerim. Okay, so but there are different opinions over here. So so we said mipnei takana. So that's the takana I just said, that it was just to protect against against Gittin Nashim being filled in shelo lishma. Rabbi Yehuda posel b'chulan. Rabbi Yehuda says no. In all these cases, you have to write, even the tofes has to be written lishma. So he's a minority opinion, and that's not the halacha, but he holds that the entire get has to be written lishma. Rabbi Elazar takes the opposite view. Umachshir b'kulan, he goes the most makil. He says that for commercial documents, there's no need to have to leave anything out. You can just there's nothing lishma lo lishma with sales or loans. Chutz mi Gittin Nashim, just Gittin Nashim, you have to fill in the toref lishma. Shenemar v'kasav la. It has to be written for her lishma, for her sake specifically. Okay, and that is where we're going to leave it. I think if you want to take it, you want to just take the chazaras in your own time.
Right. I can't
Yeah.
hope to be
Okay.
there tomorrow.
Sorry
I don't
about
know.
that. Yeah,
Sorry.
refuah shalema, feel good, huh?
And thank you.
Okay.
Have a great day.
You too.
Thank
Bye.
you.